On March 3, 1993, at the Norwegian research station Bjørn 7 in Svalbard, a team of 12 glaciologists and support staff made a discovery that would lead to the immediate evacuation and permanent closure of their facility. The team was conducting routine sonar mapping of ice sheet density when their equipment began detecting and recording impossible sounds from within 300-year-old glacial ice. Within days, the phenomena escalated. Team members began hearing recordings of their own conversations from the future, discussion that hadn't happened yet, but would play out exactly as heard when the predicted time arrived. Station Commander Mikhail Volkov heard his own voice screaming for help 3 days before falling into a crevasse in the exact manner the ice had predicted. On March 20th, at 4:33 in the morning, every piece of recording equipment simultaneously captured transmissions from the year 2029, describing mass evacuations above the 74th parallel, a magnitude 9.2 seismic event, and a catastrophic breach at the Svalbard global seed vault. All transmissions cut off at the same moment. The Norwegian Polar Institute evacuated the station within 48 hours, officially citing equipment malfunction due to magnetic anomaly. The site remains restricted. All 12 team members signed non-disclosure agreements and the project files were classified. Dr. Hannah Eriksson, the team's lead glaciologist, retained illegal copies of the recordings. Now 59 years old, she has spent 3 decades analyzing the temporal anomalies captured in the ice. Every future event the recordings predicted has occurred, exactly as foretold. With 2029 approaching, Eriksson has decided to break her silence about what the Arctic ice revealed to them, and why she believes the events of 2029 are not predictions, but warnings. This is her account of the 18 days at Station Bjørn 7, and the discovery that ice doesn't just preserve the past, it remembers the future. Every time I close my eyes, I hear the ice singing. Not metaphorically, I mean I literally hear the recordings we made at Station Bjørn 7 in March 1993, playing in perfect clarity in my mind. The voices from the past, the voices from the future, my own voice, speaking words I never said, from times that hadn't happened yet. I was 28 then, a glaciologist with the Norwegian Polar Institute, young, ambitious, excited to be selected for the acoustic mapping project. We were testing new sonar equipment designed to measure ice sheet density and identify potential carving points. Climate change was just becoming a mainstream concern, and our research was supposed to help predict glacier behavior. The station sat 40 kilometers northeast of Longyearbyen, Svalbard, 6 prefab buildings connected by insulated walkways, housing 12 researchers and support staff. I shared a room with Erik Holmberg, a Swedish engineer who snored like a walrus and made the strongest coffee I'd ever tasted. Our lab was state-of-the-art for 1993. Banks of recording equipment, oscilloscopes, and 3 sun workstations for data analysis. The first anomaly appeared on March 3rd, our 5th day of recording. "Hannah, come listen to this," Erik called from his workstation. He was frowning at his monitor, headphones half off his head. I plugged in my own headphones. At first, just the normal sounds, the creaking and groaning of ice under pressure, the distant rumble of shifting sheets. Then I heard it, whale song. Haunting, melodic calls rising and falling in patterns I'd never heard before. "Beautiful," I said. "But why is this anomalous?" "This ice is 300 years old at this depth," Erik said. "And these aren't normal whale calls. I ran them through the database. The frequency pattern matches bowhead whales, but he pulled up a spectrogram. Look at the harmonics. This subspecies has been extinct since the 1790s. We assumed equipment error. Sound waves bouncing off thermal layers, picking up modern whale songs from somewhere else. But when we triangulated the source, it was definitely coming from within the ice itself. Not below it. Not reflected from somewhere else. The ice was generating these sounds. Anna Petrova, our Russian acoustic specialist, had a theory. Perhaps the pressure waves from the original sounds altered the crystal structure of the ice as it froze. Like a phonograph recording. When our sonar hits it at the right frequency, it plays back. It was absurd, but it was the only explanation that made sense. We decided to focus our equipment on that section, see what else we could play back. That's when we found the Franklin expedition. March 7th, 2:17 a.m. I was alone on night shift, monitoring the equipment, when voices emerged from the static. British accents, formal Victorian speech patterns.
Captain Crozier insists we continue northwest, but the ice is getting thicker. We've provisions for another 3 months, perhaps 4 if we reduce rations. Have you seen Cornelius? He's been acting strange since we passed the sound.
I sat frozen, listening to dead men discuss their fate. The Franklin expedition vanished in 1847 searching for the Northwest Passage. These recordings, if that's what they were captured in ice 150 years before we arrived. I woke Eric and Anna. We spent the rest of the night listening, documenting. The voices came in fragments, sometimes overlapping, like multiple recordings playing simultaneously. We heard them discussing coordinates, arguing about routes, praying. One voice, young and terrified, kept repeating, "The ice remembers. The ice remembers everything." By morning, word had spread through the station. Everyone wanted to hear the voices. Mikhail Volkov, our station commander, was skeptical until we played him the recordings. His face went pale when he heard Russian voices dated to 1962.
Reactor failure. Compartment 7 is flooding. Surface. We need to surface now. These are not our waters. Repeat. These are not our waters.
Mikhail made some calls. There was no record of any Soviet submarine lost in those coordinates in 1962. Officially, it never happened. Unofficially, he was told to stop asking questions. That's when the fear started creeping in. If the ice could record the past, what else was it capturing? What else was it holding? On March 12th, everything changed. I was analyzing a particularly clear recording from the 1800s when I heard my own voice say, "The coffee maker's broken again. That's the 3rd time this month." Anna's voice responded, "I told them not to buy from that supplier. Norwegian equipment can't handle the cold." My blood went cold. This conversation hadn't happened. Anna and I had never discussed the coffee maker. But the next morning, when I walked into the common room, the coffee maker was indeed broken. And without thinking, I said those exact words. Anna responded exactly as the recording predicted. Eric laughed it off when I told him. "Coincidence," he said. "You heard it, so you unconsciously made it happen. Self-fulfilling prophecy." But then he heard himself on the recordings. A phone conversation with his daughter, wishing her happy birthday. The call was dated 5 days in the future. He tried to change it, to say different words when the day came. But when his daughter called, the conversation played out exactly as recorded. Every word, every pause, every laugh. We all started hearing ourselves, tomorrow's weather reports, next week's supply deliveries, conversations we hadn't had yet, arguments that hadn't happened, decisions we hadn't made. Dr. James Crawford, our British meteorologist, heard himself saying goodbye to his wife, telling her about the accident. He left the next day, abandoning his contract, taking the supply plane back to Longyearbyen. He never told us what accident he was supposed to have. Mikael was the worst affected. On March 15th, he heard himself screaming, begging for help.
Pull me up, please God. Someone pull me up, the rope is breaking. I can see something down here. It's moving in the ice.
3 days later, he fell into a crevasse while checking the weather station at Sector 7. His safety rope started fraying against the ice edge. We heard his screams, word for word what the ice had played 3 days earlier. We managed to pull him up just as the rope snapped. When we asked him what he saw down there, he just shook his head, lips pressed tight. He never went out on the ice again. The recordings grew more chaotic, past and future overlapping. Viking longships calling through fog. Chinese expeditions that wouldn't arrive for decades. Children singing nursery rhymes in languages that didn't exist yet. I stopped sleeping. Every time I closed my eyes, I heard the voices. My own voice, older, sadder, saying things I couldn't understand, warning about choices I hadn't made yet. In one recording, I heard myself at 60, maybe 70, saying, I should have destroyed the tapes. I should have never let them leave the station. On March 20th, at 4:33 in the morning, every piece of equipment in the station activated simultaneously. Every frequency, every channel burst to life with transmissions from 2029.
Emergency evacuation order for all northern settlements above 74 degrees north. Repeat, this is not a drill. Seismic event magnitude 9.2. The Svalbard vault has been breached. Containment Protocol 7 is in effect. All aircraft are ordered to maintain minimum altitude of...
Then nothing. Every transmission, in every language, cut off at the exact same moment. Just static, then silence. Mikael ordered us to pack everything. The project was over. Within 48 hours, we were on transport planes back to Tromsø. The official report stated equipment malfunction due to magnetic anomaly. The station was decommissioned. The site was marked as restricted. But I kept copies of the recordings. We all did. How could we not? I've spent 30 years analyzing them. The Viking voices led me to undiscovered settlement sites. The Franklin expedition recordings contained coordinates that helped locate one of their ships in 2014. The future recordings. Those I try not to think about. 2029 is 6 years away now. Every year I tell myself I'll destroy the recordings. Every year I listen to them again. The evacuation orders, the breach at Svalbard, where the global seed vault is located. My own voice, old and desperate, warning about the tapes. Sometimes, late at night, I put on my headphones and listen to the raw recordings from the station, the ice singing its temporal song. And sometimes, I swear I hear new voices. Voices from 2024. Voices from now. I heard myself last week, having a conversation I haven't had yet. I'm apparently going to call someone named Dr. Marcus Webb at MIT. I'm going to tell him about the recordings. He's going to ask for copies. In the recording I say yes. I've been staring at my phone for 3 days. I looked up Dr. Marcus Webb. He's real. He studies temporal acoustics and quantum information theory. He has no idea who I am. The ice remembers everything. Past, future, the choices we make, the ones we don't. It's all there, frozen, waiting to be heard. The question that keeps me awake isn't what the ice recorded. It's why it wanted us to hear it. My phone is ringing. The caller ID says MIT. I already know what he's going to say. I already know what I'm going to answer. The ice told me. The ice always tells the truth, even when we wish it wouldn't.